refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of RBO. It's your host, your boy Vaughn. Here to give you guys another episode of some NBA action. First, before we get started, I would like for everybody to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with anybody that's an NBA fan, anybody that's new to the NBA, anybody that you want to get involved more with the NBA. Just send them my way. I got them. Also, down low, we have a link to become a member with the network. We have plenty of different shows that you guys can check out that cover different sports. And we also have a chat. We have different chats on Instagram that talk about all the different sports where you get live debates, you get live discussions, you get breakdowns, and just an overall good time, especially during actual game days. And that goes for all the chats. Also, I'd like for you guys to enjoy the show, leave comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But let's dive into the show. So today we're approaching the midway part of the season, almost at the All-Star break. And I would like to talk about some most improved players. A lot of players have stepped their game up from last year into this year. I just want to highlight 4 guys that I think have stepped their game up the most, and I think are on the lookout for most improved player of the year. I want to give a special shout out to 2 guys who I think elevated their game. I don't think that they elevated their game to the same extent as these 4 guys that I see that I'm gonna say, but we're gonna talk about Jalen Johnson. Is a guy that I want to give a shout out to. He's elevated his game, averaging 5 more points, 3 more assists. He elevated his game to the point where they were able to move on from their original superstar that they were building around. So that's elevation in itself. Then I want to give a shout out to Jaylen Brown. He's also elevated his game. We already knew he was a certified baller, but without Tatum, he's definitely elevated his game a lot. And I think he's been balling, man. So I had to give these guys a shout out. But these guys aren't a part of hello, everybody in the comments. I appreciate everybody that's here. Jalen Johnson and Jaylen Brown were the 2 guys I want to give a special shout out to. But the main focus that we're going to talk about coming up first, we're going to talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Atlanta Hawks, formerly a bench player that played with Minnesota, but he always had good skill. He's a two-way player. He played both ends of the floor, can shoot the ball, can get his own bucket, and he's elevated his game tremendously with this Atlanta Hawks team. He went from his highest average was 12 points, and that was in his 3rd year when he played with the Pelicans, playing 26 minutes a game. But his minutes he's been playing 23, 25 minutes with the Timberwolves these last 2 years, coming off the bench, averaging 8 points and 9 points off the bench. Well, this year, he's carved himself out a role with the Hawks, and he's now a starter. And he's averaging 20 points. This dude is shooting 44.5% from the field and 37% from three. He's having a really, really good year. He's really elevating his stock. And I've always been a big fan of his. I'm not sure why Minnesota got rid of this guy, to be quite honest. I remember last year, years prior, they a lot of people talk about that the Timberwolves need more help. They need more guard play. And I'm like, no, they just need to play the guard that they have more. And that seems to be the case a lot of times with these most improved guys. Like they always have the talent, they just need the opportunity. But shout out to Nikhil Alexander Walker, elevate doubling and some his average from last year from 9.4 to 20 points a game, giving a more elevated role on the team. And it's paying dividends for the Hawks, I must say, because he brings, like I said, defense and he's bringing some offense. So shout out to Nikhil Alexander Walker. That's the first guy that I think has improved the most this year. And the next guy I want to talk about is Michael Porter Jr. Hmm. He's one of my favorite guys to watch because he lets it fly. His shot selection is on Hall of Fame. I mean, this dude don't care. He gonna knock it down. That's how he feel all day, every day. But coming from a championship team in the Denver Nuggets, who, you seen that his play started to dwindle just a tad bit. He's having a excellent year. He's averaging 25 points this year. He's 7 rebounds, which is about his average originally. And he's shooting 50% from the field, shooting 5 more shots. And he's also shooting 39.7% from the field, which is about the same he's been shooting. But his elevated from last year, 18 points to 25.9, which is pretty much 26 points per game. So it's about an 8-point difference. And he's actually showing he can be a number one option on the team and produce. So I think Michael Porter Jr., I hear a lot of talks that he's in the trade rumors. I think Golden State should definitely give him a call, give the Nets a call for Michael Porter Jr. because if they don't get no more help on the offensive end for Steph, they're in trouble in the playoffs, to be quite honest. They're going to put too much on Steph Curry. So picking up a Michael Porter Jr. just might help this team because people forget Michael Porter Jr. was supposed to be a top draft pick in his draft, but he failed due to injury. He now wears this weird looking brace that goes on his knee and his leg down to his ankle, and it's helped him stay on the court a lot longer. He's playing 33 minutes per game, shooting about 19 shots a game. And I like what I'm saying for Michael Porter Jr., really showcasing his true skill set. Yes, he's a sniper, but he's an all-around bucket as well and a solid player. So shout out to Michael Porter Jr. The next player, this guy plays on my mob, Orlando Magic. Oh. Anthony Black. This dude has elevated his game, man. And me being a fan, I watch almost every game of Orlando's. And I must say, this dude has definitely made me proud this year. Last year he didn't want to shoot the ball that much. He wasn't as aggressive. He always been a top tier defender, but offensively, you wanted to see more. He surprised me with his shooting coming out of college. I thought he was more of a slasher, but his shooting stood out more to me. Him being a catch and shoot, knockdown shooter. But this year, he's putting it all together. Last year, his second year, he averaged 9 points, about 3 rebounds, about 3 assists. This year he's averaging 15.7, almost 16 points, about 4 assists and 4 rebounds. So he went from playing 24 minutes to 30 minutes, and due to injuries, he has to be forced into the starting lineup this year early, and I think that helped him a lot as well. Ben, like I said, you need opportunities to show who you are. And given the opportunity, I think last year experience in the playoffs playing against the Celtics also helped Anthony Black. He's slowly becoming one of the better two-way players with guards in the league, to be quite honest. Always had a good defensive, he was always a good defensive player coming out of college with a 6'7" frame. Like he's a big point guard, you know, and he just been balling, man. Um, he's been shooting 46% from the field, 35% from three. You know, doing a little bit of everything out there, stealing, getting steals, blocks, but his scoring has really stood out. I think he had a 30-point game this year against Philly. So he's really elevated his game, and I think that's going to be very pivotal for the Magic, especially once they get into the playoffs, because having more guys that can get the job done only bodes well for your team. And Anthony Black, you doing your thing, my boy. You improving, and it's good. So shout out to Anthony Black. You know, that's about a 6.7 point difference from last year, which is pretty good, man. He's a young player, and his elevation is showing. Make sure you leave a comment. You know, if you come through, got any questions, ask any questions, like, subscribe, share this with anybody. We got one more player to talk about for most improved, man. And this guy, man, he's really nice. Like, this dude is really nice. And I'm glad that, you know, guys get opportunities to showcase. Like, one team might not, you know, think of you as highly as the next team, you know. And this player is Denny Admia. I think I said that right. Denny is a baller, man. This dude can do it all. He's almost a walking triple double, man. Another big guy that plays guard, 6'8", 228, can put the ball on the floor, can shoot the three, can finish, can pass, he rebounds. He's not the greatest defender, but with the size and the fact that he's a competitor, he's not a bad defender either. But Denny this year has been going nuclear, has been doing his thing with the Blazers, I must say. Second year with the Blazers. Last year, averaged about 17.7 rebounds, 4 assists, playing about 30 minutes a game. Um, Previous 4 years in the league with the Wizards, you know, you saw every year he improved. 6 points, 8 points, 9 points to 14 points to being traded to Portland. And now this year, he went from averaging 16 to 26 points a game. Oh my goodness. 16 to 26 points a game. He's averaging from 3.9 assists to 6.9 assists. His rebounds around the same, 7-7. He's shooting 80% from the free throw line, career high. He's shooting 35% from three, and he's also shooting 46% from the field. This dude is balling. 26 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 46% from the field, 6'8" guard, doing his thing, showcasing and letting the league know that he's a problem. And the Blazers got something good cooking over there. I do think that they possibly could move on from Drew Holiday, you know, because, you know, they just need to build off these young guys. But having a veteran like Drew Holiday does help, because I do got a lot of faith in a guy like Shaden Sharp. I think he's going to be one of the better two guards in the league. He has the athleticism, the shot making abilities, the touch, and he's a dog. So this Portland team has a good two-man punch with these guards, and you can't count out guys like Kamara, um, Klingon, the center they just drafted. So this Portland team is building, and they got a guy, Denny, who can do a little bit of everything. And that seems to be a theme in the league, bigger guards that can do it all. Jalen Johnson is a forward, but he does it all. Kay Cunningham does it all. Denny does it all. So that seems to be a theme when it comes to you know, a lot of teams trying to find some type of success. And that starts with having a big guard that can do a little bit of everything. So shout out to Denny, man. 26, 7 and 7, shooting 46%, averaging 10 more points from last year, balling. But, you know, given the opportunity, guys, they shall, you know, I think a lot of guys gonna show who they are, man. Put them out there, let them play, see what you got, show who you are. And I think this team that I'm about to talk about now have shown who they are. And I think it's time for them to figure out something else, to be quite honest. And that's the Memphis Grizzlies, man. I think it's time for a Memphis rebuild. I really do. to be quite honest. At one point, this team was on the heels of the Warriors when the Warriors was one of the better teams in the West, and then they just fell. Ja with his off the court allegations, Dylan Brooks with his on the court allegations, Jaren Jackson getting 4 rebounds in a game when he's 6'10". It's just a lot of things. Only thing that I felt like was good for them was Desmond Bain. He just was balling. But now Desmond Bain's gone. You traded him for a haul of draft picks, which I thought was good for y'all. A good step in the right direction. And now we hear rumblings of John Morant on the trade block, which I think it's time to move on as well. I wouldn't mind seeing him with Miami. Him with the Bucks would be interesting. But to be honest, Kevin Porter Jr., that's another guy. Kevin Porter Jr., he's reviving his career too. He has a rocky start, but him playing with the Bucks, he's playing some good ball. But I wouldn't want to see him there because of that reason. Another team possibly can see him with Timberwolves, possibly him and Ant-Man and Julius Randle, possibly. Other than that, I really don't know where I would like to see him at. Orlando, I wouldn't be too opposed to it, but I'm not sure if he fits us. But I do think it's time to move on from John Morant. It just don't feel the same when you watch the Grizzlies no more, man. It just doesn't. They used to be one of the hypest, littest teams in the league. You lost Dylan Brooks he's gone now. I went to the Rockets, now with the Suns. Oh, Dylan Brooks. Shout out Dylan Brooks too, man. He has improved a lot. And it's not just his numbers, his actual game. He's improved a lot. Shout out Dylan Brooks. I forgot to say that as well. Shout out to Dylan Brooks. But they lost Dylan Brooks, who, once he left, he's starting to do better. They just lost, like I said, Desmond Bain. I think it's time to move on from Ja, man. I think the Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson experiment is over, man. Jaren Jackson, good guy. He shows me some upside offensively, defensively. He blocks shots. He's won Defensive Player of the Year. I just don't know if he's the big man that they need, man. Jaren Jackson needs to be on a team that has a solid center. Like, I think he would fit better with like Portland. They got Klingon down there. He like 7'3", Because he don't rebound, bro. I'm about to go to his rebounds right now, y'all. And I guarantee you, he don't lead his team in rebounds. He probably not even top 3 in rebounds on his team. And that's no disrespect to Jaren Jackson. He's solid. He just don't bring it. Oh, my Lord. He is 6th in rebounds. Zach Edey, of course, he averages 11 rebounds. Well, actually, he's 4th because this guy only played 2 games. So, Santi averages 6.8. Cedric Coward, the rookie, averages 6.7. Jake Londell averages 6.3. And then Jaren Jackson averages 5.6. See, that's not going to cut it, man. It's just not going to cut it. I think it's time for them to move on, man. They got some young guys. G.G. Jackson. I like Cam Spencer. I like Jalen Wells. I like Cedric Coward. I like Santi, too. I think he's a good player. Zach Edey, solid big. And if you looked at the landscape in college, they got some ballers coming out, man. I'm sorry. It's a lot of ballers coming out. If I'm Memphis, I'm getting rid of Jaren Jackson and I'm getting rid of Ja Morant. And I'm starting fresh, man. I'm starting fresh. Either you trade and get somebody that's, an all-star that can help, or you just start fresh, man. And, even if you get an all-star, you're not going to win many games. You're still going to get a good draft pick. But I'll boss up on them draft picks, man, because this draft is going to be really good. And I think the value of the picks is going to be really good. So that's what I'll do if I'm Memphis. Currently, if we look at where they're standing, let's see where they're standing. I'm pretty sure it's not what it used to be. They used to be top 3 in the West every single year. Let's see. Right now, Memphis, ESPN is one of the slowest apps in the world. Memphis is 10th, 17, and 22. They're not terrible, to be quite honest. They're in the play-in, but to be honest, man, they're not gonna do nothing in the playoffs. I don't really see them beating nobody. Nobody. Like if they come at the play-in, they're gonna have to play the Spurs or the Thunder. I don't got them beating neither team. So yeah, man, just start fresh. I'll start fresh. Got some young cats coming out that are some true ballers, man. And if you're the GM, this is a very pivotal moment for y'all. Cause y'all been teetering and tottering, and a lot of it was because of Ja. But if y'all get rid of Ja, make the right move. That's all I got to say, man. Just make the right move. But that's all I got for y'all, man, today. We will definitely be live again this week. Shooting for a Wednesday. So just subscribe to the channel. Follow me on IG, real.only.ballers on IG. And yeah, log in with your boy because I got content dropping. We'll have some reels dropping. Have some guests coming on this week as well. And yeah. Shout out to my Orlando Magic. Just got the dub against the Pelicans. Shout out to Mo Wagner. He's back. First game back. I think Franz should be back Thursday. So we have both of the Wagner brothers back. Just waiting on Jalen Suggs. Got to make a run. Got to push up in these standings. Finish top 3. Right now, Magic is 22-18. But other than the Pistons, really, everybody's is pretty close. So I really just want a top 3 seed. So I think we can make that push. The Sixers looking good right now. I ain't gonna lie. They starting to gel. So we're gonna see the East is stronger than a lot of people think. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll give you guys a time tonight. We're gonna have a show. We're gonna discuss. Before in the past, the West always used to just outclass the East, just hands down. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the East has a nice amount of good teams. I think they have more good teams than the West, to be quite honest. So that would be the next topic. We're shooting for tomorrow. If not, then definitely Wednesday, like I said. But shout out to my Magic. We got to make a push. I don't like where we at right now. We need to be up in them 3 and 4th spot. You know what I'm saying? Because 3 and 4 is interchangeable. So, yeah. But shout out to my Steelers too, man. Hold on, I gotta take this off for a second. Shout out to my Steelers, man. It's game day, dog. We gotta get a playoff win. That's all. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get a playoff win. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm gonna say. We gotta get a playoff win, dog. So shout out to A-Rod, Steeler Nation. Gonna be in effect. Shout out to the network. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Become a member. Join the team. We have a lot of fun to chats. Trust me, if your team lose, especially in the playoffs, or you don't make the playoffs, it's very fun in the chats the next day. So hopefully my Steelers get this dub because I know if we don't, I'm gonna have to go up in the chat tomorrow and I'm gonna have to face the music. But it's all fun and games. You know what I'm saying? I ain't ducking nothing. So. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in with your boy, man. Make sure you subscribe, like I said, so you can be informed when the next episode. But your boy gonna be back because real ballers gonna ball.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.